Hello, fellow farmers, and welcome to Celebrity's Farm. Today, we're delving into the story behind one of the most famous faces in world history, a man known as the Father of the Nation, an imposing general, and the first President of the United States. But what if I told you that his true passion, his greatest life project wasn't politics, but agriculture? Get ready to learn the story of George Washington, the visionary wheat farmer who built a billion-dollar farming empire. A story never before told in such profound detail. Believe it or not, Washington saw himself above all as a farmer. The glamour of being president was fleeting, but the land was his calling. His home, Mount Vernon, Virginia, wasn't just a mansion. It was a veritable universe. A colossal rural complex that he himself, with his own hands and mind, transformed into a machine of profit and innovation. If you're already curious, just imagine. We're talking about a property of over 200 hectares, divided into 5 different farms. Think of the scale! It's like having your own small town, where the currency was the crops, the livestock, and most importantly, the golden gold he extracted from the earth. Wheat. And if you find this fascinating, get ready, because we're just getting started. If you're one of our farmers who already knows the channel, you know what to do. Like it right now. If you're new here, subscribe so you don't miss any of our stories. And now, let's head to the fields. When Washington inherited his brother's estate, the farm was like most Virginia farms, dependent on tobacco. Tobacco was king, the great export, but also a veritable parasite on the soil. It sucked up all the nutrients, leaving the land barren and lifeless. Washington, with his general's strategic mind, realized this was not a battle he could win in the long run. He needed a new weapon, a new crop, a new business model. That's when he made a radical, revolutionary decision for the time. He abandoned tobacco and bet everything on wheat. This wasn't a simple change. It was a revolution. He wasn't just a farmer growing what the land demanded. He was a business strategist, a visionary ecologist. Wheat was much kinder to the soil, but to reap the rewards of this change, he needed to go further. Washington became a true agricultural scientist, one of the first to apply a scientific system to agriculture in the United States. He implemented crop rotation, a method that seemed like magic but was pure science. He alternated planting wheat with other crops like corn and alfalfa, allowing the land to recover. He was also a pioneer in the use of organic fertilizers, using manure and compost to enrich the soil. But planting wheat was just the beginning. Washington wasn't a farmer content to sell the raw material. He wanted the final product, maximum profit. And to achieve this, he built what became the crown jewel of Mount Vernon, his own flour mill. George Washington's mill was a monument to his genius. Powered by water power, it transformed tons and tons of grain into high-quality flour. The process was so efficient that he could produce the purest, whitest flour on the market. While other farmers sold their wheat in bulk, Washington was at the top of the production chain, selling flour packaged in barrels bearing the George Washington, proprietor of Mount Vernon, mark. This flour was so renowned for its quality that it was exported to the Caribbean and even Europe, making Washington one of the richest and most influential men in the new nation. His farm was a vertically integrated business, from planting to export. Think of this man's vision. He wasn't just growing wheat, he was building a brand, an empire. But Washington's surprises didn't stop there. After leaving the presidency, he was advised by his farm manager, James Anderson, to invest in something that was becoming popular: whiskey. And as expected, Washington didn't do it as an amateur. He built the largest and most modern distillery in the United States, capable of producing over 40,000 liters of whiskey per year. This distillery became incredibly profitable, transforming surplus corn and other grains into a highly valuable commodity. His rye whiskey not only earned him a fortune, but also reinforced his reputation as an innovative farmer and successful businessman. Washington was always ahead of his time, whether in politics or agriculture. And that's why, even centuries later, his figure as a farmer inspires and fascinates us. He was living proof that greatness isn't limited to offices or battlefields. It can be born and flourish in the land. However, it would be grossly irresponsible not to mention the fundamental contradiction that underpinned this agricultural empire. The truth is that Mount Vernon's prosperity and the success of its innovations were built on the backs of hundreds of enslaved people. Washington owned more than 300 men, women, and children who worked tirelessly in his fields, mills, and distilleries. The life of an enslaved person at Mount Vernon was one of incessant labor, deprivation, and violation of human rights. The same man who fought for the nation's freedom and independence was the master of other lives. This is the complexity and the darkest part of George Washington's story. He acknowledged in letters that slavery was an immoral practice, but only made the decision to free the enslaved people he owned in his will after his death. This is a part of the story that must be told, for it reminds us that wealth and progress often come at a terrible human cost, and that even heroes have their flaws. Washington's story as a farmer is the story of a man who saw the future not only in marble palaces, but in cultivated fields, grazing cattle, and the smell of freshly ground wheat. He taught us that a nation's prosperity, like an individual's, begins in the land. He was a leader unafraid to get his hands dirty, a general who traded the sword for the plow, a president who preferred the tranquility of the countryside to the hustle and bustle of politics. His farm wasn't just a property, it was an extension of his vision, a reflection of his personality, and a monument to his relentless pursuit of innovation. So, what did you think of this story? I know it's jaw-dropping. Tell me in the comments, which detail about Mount Vernon surprised you most? The flour mill, the whiskey distillery, or its transition from tobacco to wheat? I want to know. And if you enjoyed this journey through the past, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Celebrities Farm channel. Hit the bell so you don't miss our next videos, where we'll continue exploring the country life of history's most fascinating celebrities. See you in the next video.